Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Definitely.
Today we're tackling PTSD journal prompts.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah, we're using a blog post from LeStallion as our guide.
Ah, Listallion.
Yeah, they're known for their journals, but their blog is full of amazing resources too. And these prompts are seriously insightful.
Yeah, I've seen some of their stuff. They're great.
Yeah, so what's really cool is how they've organized these prompts.
Okay, how so?
Well, they've broken them down into these themed sections, like exploring emotions, understanding your triggers, finding coping strategies, and then focusing on healing and recovery and self-empowerment.
Wow, it's like a whole roadmap for processing trauma through journaling. That's really cool.
Exactly. It gives you this structured approach, which can be super helpful when you're dealing with PTSD.
Right, because PTSD can feel so overwhelming and chaotic sometimes.
Totally. So let's start with that first section, exploring emotions.
Okay, yeah, that seems like a good foundation.
Yeah, because, when you're dealing with PTSD, your emotions can be all over the place.
Absolutely. It's like this whirlwind of intense feelings or sometimes even feeling numb.
Yeah, exactly. And these prompts,
hmm
they really help you tune in to those emotions and start to make sense of them.
It's so important to understand what you're feeling, right? To be able to
Right.
name it and process it.
Absolutely. There's this one prompt that I thought was really powerful. It says, write about a time you felt safe and calm. What were you doing? Who are you with? How can you recreate this feeling more often?
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's like capturing those moments of peace so you can, find your way back to them when things get tough.
I love that because with PTSD, it's easy to get so focused on the negative, the fear, the anxiety. But that prompt reminds you that those positive emotions, like safety and calmness, they're still there.
Right. It's like building a bridge back to those feelings.
Exactly. And by intentionally recreating those moments, you're actually rewiring your brain to experience those positive feelings more often. It's pretty amazing.
It is. And you know what I also appreciate? They encourage you to explore the difficult emotions too.
Oh, yeah, that's important.
Yeah, like there's a prompt that says, write about an emotion you find difficult to express. Because let's be real, sometimes those feelings get bottled up, and that's where things can get really messy.
Totally. Journaling gives you that safe space to acknowledge those feelings without judgment. You can write about your anger, sadness, guilt, shame, whatever it is, without worrying about what other people might think.
Right? It's just for you.
Yeah, and sometimes just putting those emotions into words can be incredibly releasing, like a weight lifted off your shoulders.
Definitely. Okay, so we've talked about getting in touch with our emotions.
Yeah.
But what about those triggers that can kind of hijack those feelings?
Ugh, yeah, triggers, they can be so tough.
Right. That's where the next section, understanding triggers, comes in. And these prompts, they really dive deep into how triggers work.
So it's not just about identifying them, but really understanding them.
Exactly. Like one prompt asks, describe a situation where you felt out of control due to a trigger. What happened and how did you cope afterward?
That's interesting. It's like you become a detective of your own experience.
I love that analogy. It's about figuring out the patterns and then, figuring out how to navigate them.
And that's where journaling is so powerful. By writing about your triggers, you're essentially creating a map of what sets them off. And that awareness is the first step toward taking back control.
It's like you said before, creating that roadmap.
Exactly. There's another prompt that I think is really key too. Reflect on how triggers have changed over time.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, it shows you that healing is possible. Those triggers might not disappear completely, but their intensity can lessen and you can get better at managing them.
So it's not about, being cured, but about progress.
Exactly. It's a journey, not a destination.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's like you're creating this guidebook for yourself, showing yourself that you're not stuck in that same reactive loop forever.
You got it. And that brings us to the next section, coping strategies. This is where things start to feel really empowering, wouldn't you say?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So we've explored emotions, we've tackled those pesky triggers, and we've even started to build some coping strategies.
Yeah, it feels like we're really getting somewhere.
Right. So now let's shift our focus to the bigger picture, healing and recovery.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. It's not just about managing symptoms in the moment, right?
Exactly. It's about that long-term journey of healing from trauma.
And that's where I think hope comes in, doesn't it? Because when you're struggling with PTSD, it can be hard to imagine a future where it doesn't have such a hold on you.
Absolutely. Hope is so essential for healing. It's that belief that things can get better, that you can reclaim your life, find joy again.
Yeah, it's like that light at the end of the tunnel.
And one of the prompts in this section really captures that beautifully. Write about a time when you felt a sense of hope. What inspired you, and how did it affect your outlook on recovery?
Oh, I like that one. It's like seeking out those glimmers of light, even in the darkest moments.
Exactly. It's about recognizing those moments, those shifts, when you feel a sense of possibility.
Like what kinds of things?
Well, maybe it's connecting with someone who truly gets what you're going through, or finally achieving a goal you thought was impossible.
Yeah, I can see how those moments could be really powerful.
They can be fuel for that hope, that motivation to keep moving forward.
It makes me think about resilience too,
Yeah.
that ability to bounce back, to keep going, even when it's tough.
Resilience is huge, and it's something that can be cultivated through journaling. There's a prompt here. Reflect on a time when you overcame a challenge.
Interesting.
It encourages you to look back and see how far you've come, how you've navigated those tough situations in the past.
Yeah, to remind yourself that you've got this.
Exactly. You've done it before, you can do it again. Speaking of empowerment, that leads us perfectly to the last section, self-compassion and empowerment.
Ah, yes. This feels especially important because, well, PTSD can really knock down your self-worth.
You're so right. Trauma can chip away at how you see yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
So this section is all about rebuilding that self-compassion, recognizing your own strength.
I love that. Like giving yourself permission to be human.
Exactly. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a friend.
Okay, so what are some of the prompts in this section?
Well, there's one that says, write about a time you practiced self-compassion. What did you do to be kind to yourself, and how did it feel?
That's a good one. So often we're our own worst critics.
Right. And then another one that I find really powerful is, describe a small victory you've had in managing your PTSD. What happened and how did it make you feel?
I love that. It's so easy to focus on the big picture and forget to celebrate those little wins.
Totally. But those small victories, they build momentum.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's something as simple as getting out of bed and taking a shower when you feel overwhelmed, or using a coping skill to navigate a trigger.
Yeah, those are big wins.
And acknowledging them can really shift your whole perspective. It shows you that you're making progress, that you're capable of taking care of yourself, even with PTSD.
Wow, we've really covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
It's amazing how LeStallion has put together these prompts.
Yeah, they're really well thought out.
It's like they've thought of every angle of PTSD and how journaling can help.
Absolutely. It shows how multifaceted healing really is.
Right. It's not just about managing symptoms. It's about understanding yourself, becoming more resilient.
And ultimately, taking back your life.
It really feels like these prompts could be the starting point for anyone who wants to use journaling for PTSD.
Oh, for sure. And the act of writing itself can be so therapeutic.
How so?
Well, it helps to organize your thoughts, process those tough emotions,
Makes sense.
and even rewire your brain in a way that helps with healing.
So it's not just about getting things off your chest, it's actually changing how you think and feel.
Exactly. And when you apply that to the challenges of PTSD, the benefits can be incredible.
It's like giving yourself a safe space to unpack everything.
Right. All those things you might not feel comfortable sharing with others.
And in that space, you can start to understand your experiences and find ways to move forward.
That's the key. And what I appreciate about these prompts is that they're not just about dwelling on the past.
Okay, what do you mean?
Well, they encourage reflection, yes, but they also nudge you towards action.
So it's about taking those insights and using them to make positive changes.
Exactly, creating a better present and future for yourself.
So for our listener who's been with us on this deep dive, what's the one thing you really want them to remember?
I'd say this. Be curious about your own experience. Don't shy away from those difficult emotions.
It's about facing them head on.
Exactly. Understand your triggers, try different coping strategies, see what works for you.
No two people are the same, right?
Right. And remember, there's no right or wrong way to journal. It's your personal journey.
Find what works for you and use it as a tool to help you heal. If you're feeling inspired to start journaling, definitely check out LeStallion's blog. It's a great place to start.
There are tons of other resources out there too. Books, websites, therapists who specialize in trauma.
Oh yeah, and don't forget about support groups.
Right. Connecting with others who understand can make a world of difference.
This has been such a powerful conversation. I really encourage you to give journaling a try.
It's an amazing tool for healing and self-discovery.
It's a way to connect with yourself, process what you've been through,
And ultimately move forward on your journey of recovery.
and remember, even small steps forward can make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Be kind to yourself, celebrate your progress, and never give up hope.
You're stronger than you think.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Until next time.